You know how sometimes you can spend what feels like forever trying to master English, especially workplace English?
Oh, definitely.
You might nail the grammar, memorize tons of words, but then, bam, you're talking to a real customer, maybe trying to explain why their car sounds, I don't know, weird.
Mm.
And suddenly the English you learned in class just feels completely different. Does that sound familiar at all? Maybe if you're like prepping for a career, needing good English.
It's such a common frustration. There's often a real gap, isn't there, between the, let's say, sterile classroom environment and the messy, fast-paced reality of actually using the language at work.
Exactly. Messy is a good word for it. And, well, for a while now, technology has seemed like the big hope, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that could bridge that gap, make learning more engaging, more real.
Right.
Virtual reality, VR, got a lot of buzz. I mean, imagine learning English by actually being in a virtual garage, right?
Yeah.
Tools around, maybe even a virtual whiff of oil.
It's a very appealing concept. That idea of immersion, of learning by doing in a simulated space, it has huge potential.
But then reality hits, doesn't it? The headsets are often super expensive. Setting it all up can be, well, complicated.
Time barriers.
And sometimes the tech just feels a bit clunky, maybe even makes it feel a little queasy.
Those are real challenges, yeah. Cost, technical complexity. They've slowed down the widespread adoption of VR in, like, everyday classrooms.
Well, okay, get this. There might be a simpler, more accessible solution. Good news, maybe. It's called Panoramic Image Virtual Reality, or PIVR.
PIVR. Okay.
Think of it like VR's more down-to-earth cousin. It uses those 360-degree photos, you know, the ones like on Google Maps when you look around.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It uses those to create immersive scenes, but without needing all the super high-end, expensive gear. Seems much more practical for schools and learners, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Making that kind of immersive tech more accessible, lowering the cost and complexity, that's a really significant step. It could open a lot of doors.
And that's precisely why we're doing this deep dive today. We've got this fascinating study that looked at exactly that. How PIVR affects workplace English learning for vocational high school students, specifically auto mechanics students.
Oh, interesting. A very specific application.
Right. Learning the English they actually need on the job. The study had 106 students split into two groups. One used PIVR, the other used more traditional computer-assisted learning.
So direct comparison. That's a solid setup to see what difference the PIVR approach actually makes.
Yep. So we're going to dig into what the study found about their learning performance. Did they actually learn the job-specific English better? And their motivation, were they more into it? Plus their satisfaction.
Okay.
And we'll also look at whether how much English they already knew, their prior knowledge, played a role in how well PIVR worked. So yeah, let's dive in.
All right. So this PIVR approach, using the 360 images,
Yeah.
what did the study actually find? Did it help these future mechanics learn that workplace English?
Okay, so first off, good news all around. After the 3 weeks, both groups, the PIVR group and the control group, using standard computer stuff, they both got significantly better at workplace English.
That's good. So both methods had some positive impact.
Exactly. Like the PIVR group, they started with an average score around 31.7 on the pretest. After the intervention, they jumped up to 40.
Okay. Decent job.
And the control group, they improved too, went from about 29.1 up to 34.5. So, you know, learning happened in both scenarios.
Right. It shows that focusing on the material works, regardless of the specific tech, to some extent.
And this is the key bit. The study found that the PIVR group didn't just improve, they improved significantly more than the control group.
Ah, okay. So PIVR had an extra edge.
Yeah. They used this analysis, anisovia, which basically compares the groups fairly, even if they started at slightly different points. And the result, F equals 6.23, P equals 0.01.
Which statistically means?
It means it's very unlikely that difference was just random chance. PIVR gave them a real boost compared to the traditional computer method.
Interesting. So more effective for actual learning performance.
Yeah.
What about motivation? Do they want to learn more using PIVR?
Good question. Because motivation is huge, right? If you're not engaged, it's tough.
Absolutely.
Well, similar story here, but maybe a little less dramatic. Both groups, again, showed a significant increase in their motivation levels after the study.
Okay, so both methods helped get them more interested.
Seems like it. The PIVR group went from an average motivation score of about 3.0 to 3.45. The control group went from 2.89 up to 3.29. So both activities sparked some interest.
That's still positive. Engaging with relevant real-world type scenarios, even on a standard computer, seems to help with wanting to learn.
True. But just like with performance, PIVR seemed to have a slight advantage here too. The ANCOV comparison showed the PIVR group ended up with slightly higher motivation. The stats were F equals 5.18, P equals 0.025.
So again, a statistically significant, though perhaps smaller, edge for PIVR in terms of keeping students engaged.
Looks that way. Better performance, slightly higher motivation, starting to see a pattern.
Yeah, it seems PIVR is showing benefits on multiple fronts.
But hold on, the difference in satisfaction was really quite striking.
Oh, how so?
When they asked the students how satisfied they were with the learning method, the PIVR group reported way higher satisfaction, like significantly higher.
Really? What were the numbers?
The PIVR group's average satisfaction score was 4.75 out of 5, really high. The control group, only 3.35 on average.
Wow, okay, that is a big difference. 4.75 versus 3.35.
Huge difference. And the stats confirmed it was highly significant. T equals 16.81, P well below 0.05. These students clearly preferred learning with PIVR. They enjoyed it more.
That's a very compelling finding. Student satisfaction often correlates with deeper engagement and potentially better long-term retention if you enjoy the process.
You're more likely to stick with it, right? And they asked why they liked it more. The survey had items like, it is more fun to learn with this method than the old one.
Makes sense.
And I like to learn with this method. Plus, I would recommend this learning method to other students. Lots of agreement from the PIVR group on those.
So the immersive, maybe novel aspect of PIVR really resonated with them. It made learning feel less like a task and more enjoyable.
Exactly. Less like a chore, more engaging.
Okay, so PIVR seems to boost performance, motivation slightly, and satisfaction significantly.
Yeah.
But did it work for everyone equally? What about students who already knew a lot of English versus those just starting out?
Right, the prior knowledge question. That's super important. So the researchers divided the students based on their previous English grades. Top 27% were high prior knowledge, bottom 7% low, and the rest medium.
Standard way to group them. Okay.
So looking just within the PIVR group first, they found that both the medium and the low prior knowledge students showed really significant improvement in their English scores after using PIVR.
Right.
The medium group went from about 26.8 up to 40. The low group, even more dramatically, jumped from roughly 12.3 up to almost 25.
Wow, nearly doubled for the low group. That's impressive progress.
Yeah. But the high prior knowledge group, well, they started high, around 54.7, and they ended around 55.1. Not really a statistically significant change.
Which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? If you're already scoring high, there's less room for that kind of intervention to show a massive jump in a short time. They might need different challenges.
That seems logical. Now, what about the control group? Did we see the same pattern?
Let's see.
Pretty much, yeah. In the control group, the medium knowledge students improved significantly, 27.2 up to 33.3, and the low knowledge group also improved significantly, 14.3 up to 23.1.
Okay, so improvement for medium and low there too.
Right. And just like the PIVR group, the high knowledge students in the control group didn't show a significant score change either. Started at 47.4, ended at 48.2.
So it seems both methods are most effective in terms of score gains for students who aren't already at the top. The medium and low groups benefited most in both cases.
Correct. But here's the really critical comparison. When they compared PIVR versus the control group within each knowledge level.
Okay. Head-to-head for each group.
Yes. They found that for the students with medium prior knowledge, PIVR was significantly more effective than the traditional method.
Really? For the medium group specifically?
Yep. The adjusted mean score for the PIVR medium group was about 39.5 compared to only 33.8 for the control medium group. That's a solid difference. ANCOVIA showed F 7.75, P equals 0.008.
Okay, that's a key finding. So PIVR gives an extra advantage specifically to those learners in the middle range. They know some English, but have room to improve.
Exactly. But interestingly, for the high prior knowledge students, there was no significant difference between PIVR and control. Same for the low prior knowledge students, no significant difference in performance gains between the two methods.
So PIVR's biggest performance advantage seems concentrated in that medium knowledge group. That's quite specific.
It really is. Now, motivation, did that vary by prior knowledge?
Good question. Did PIVR motivate everyone or just certain groups?
Here, the results were more uniform. In both the PIVR group and the control group, all three prior knowledge levels, high, medium, and low, showed significant improvements in their motivation after the study.
Okay. So regardless of their starting English level, both learning approaches helped boost their interest and willingness to learn.
Seems so. PIVR was effective at enhancing motivation across the board, even if its biggest performance impact was on the medium group.
That's still valuable information.
Yeah.
Motivation is key, even if test scores don't jump dramatically for everyone.
Definitely. All right, so we know who benefited and how, but what exactly were they learning? What did the PIVR materials actually look like?
Right, the content. The study mentioned they focused on 6 main workplace scenes relevant to auto mechanics.
Okay, like what?
Things like an automobile repair garage, naturally,
Yeah.
but also a showroom, a car wash, a window tinting center, the inside of a car, and even a gas station. Pretty practical stuff.
Yeah, places they'd actually encounter. And the key thing was the content was the same for both the PIVR and the control group, wasn't it?
Exactly the same content. Vocabulary, dialogues, scenarios, all identical. The only difference was the delivery method. PIVR versus essentially PowerPoint-style slides on a computer.
So it really was a test of the immersive PIVR approach itself. How did they use PIVR specifically?
They used it in several ways. First, just to introduce the settings, let students explore the 360 environment visually.
Oh, okay. Get oriented.
Then for vocabulary, they did something neat. They used split-screen panoramic images viewed through basic Google Cardboard viewers to create a kind of 3D effect.
Oh, cool. So the words and parts almost top out.
Kind of, yeah. Trying to make it more memorable than just a flat image. They also embedded audio conversations, like between a customer and a service advisor, within these panoramic scenes for listening practice.
So you hear the dialogue in the virtual garage, not just abstractly.
Precisely. Contextualized listening. They also had pop-up vocabulary quizzes within the PIVR environment with immediate feedback, green for right, red for wrong.
Insta feedback, nice.
And even for formative assessments like practice tests, they'd show conversations on a worksheet, but set the scene using the PIVR background.
So a real mix, introducing, visualizing, listening, quizzing, testing, all trying to leverage that immersive feeling.
Yeah, really trying to maximize the sense of being there to make the language learning more concrete and engaging.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. If we boil it down, what are the main takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, I think the big one is that PIVR looks like a genuine promising tool for this kind of specific workplace English training. It's relatively low cost compared to full VR.
Right, much more accessible.
And this study showed it led to better learning performance overall, especially for those students in the medium range of prior English knowledge.
And significantly higher satisfaction, too. That seemed pretty clear. Students just enjoyed it more.
Definitely. Plus, it boosted motivation across all levels, even if the score gains weren't huge for the high achievers.
Yeah, that's an important nuance, isn't it? While PIVR and even the traditional method helped the low and medium students improve their scores, neither really moved the needle much for the high knowledge group in this short study.
Which suggests those advanced learners might need something different, maybe more complex tasks, more authentic interaction, something beyond what this specific intervention offered.
Makes sense. One size rarely fits all in education.
True.
And thinking beyond auto mechanics, it feels like this PIVR approach could be useful in loads of different areas, right? Learning practical skills, customer service, procedures.
Absolutely. Anywhere that simulating a real-world environment can enhance learning, the potential applications are broad.
Now, the researchers were careful to point out some limitations too, weren't they?
Yes, definitely. It was a relatively short study, just 3 weeks.
Right.
And it focused only on male students in one specific vocational field. So we need to be cautious about generalizing too widely just yet.
So more research needed, looking at longer-term effects, different subjects, maybe see if there are gender differences.
Exactly. And they also suggested adding qualitative data like classroom observations or student interviews could give a richer understanding of why things worked the way they did.
Good points. So here's something to maybe think about as we finish up. As technologies like PIVR evolve, becoming maybe even more sophisticated, more personalized, could they eventually adapt in real time to each learner's specific needs, their knowledge gaps, their learning style? Could this kind of adaptive, immersive tech be the key to helping everyone learn more effectively, no matter their starting point?
That's the dream, isn't it? Truly personalized, adaptive, engaging learning environments. It's certainly a fascinating direction for educational technology to move towards. Something to keep an eye on.
Definitely something to think about. How could we use these tools, or how might they shape learning in the future? Lots to consider.